Good evening. My name is Kate Frauchi. I am here this evening to share with you the Namaste Sober practice that I hold on every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We come together on Monday nights at 7 p.m. here in Zoom to experience a movement practice. We also experience support, empowerment, and some space for reflection and some time to work that throat chakra. So, this evening's class will be a little bit different than what it would be if you were to tune into a live class on Monday nights. I don't have anybody else with me, and the sharing portion isn't quite the same when I'm by myself. So, just have that be known. When you come into the space on Monday nights, I welcome you in. If you want to come about 5 minutes early, that's great. I usually have the room open and ready at least 5 minutes before class. And always feel free to use the chat box when you come into Namaste Sober um, to honor that short time that we have together. We want to stay within the structure. And then, of course, at the end, I'll open the room for any further discussion or conversation that maybe needs to be had. Namaste Sober usually lasts between 60 and 90 minutes, usually falls somewhere between the 70 and 80-minute mark. So just plan to have, 90 minutes for yourself for this practice. And this practice is in this space of Monday nights Namaste Sober was created with the sober yogi in mind. However, this space is welcoming and inviting to all. Anybody that is committed to personal growth is welcome here in this Namaste Sober space. So this week, we are going to be exploring Ashima. It is non-violence. It is a yama and is an important part of the 8 limbs of Patanjali's Ashtanga yoga system. That was a whole mouthful of words. So Ashima, it means nonviolence. It is a yama, and yama is part of the 8 limbs of Patanjali's Ashtanga yoga system. And I believe that this system is full of useful teachings and practices, not only on the path of sobriety, but just like on that path of enlightenment, on that path of expansion and growth that we're all meant to experience here in this life. And I think for a lot of us who have had any time in sobriety, we can agree that drinking was an act of violence towards ourselves. Yeah, there's a lot there, right? So I thought this would be a great way to kind of blend the worlds, right? Kind of bringing in these yogic teachings and practices into our modern day lives. And they're so applicable, even though they've been around for forever. Um, so the framework in our Namaste Sober yoga classes on Monday nights, it's generally about the same. We come in and the agreements will always be in the chats. The agreements are there to help create a safe and sacred space. So as soon as you come in, go ahead and just type with love in the chats after you have read through the agreements, just indicating that you are willing to be a part of keeping this space sacred. And part of that is also keeping the space confidential. So, it's like what happens in Vegas, what stays in Vegas. Only here we're sober and we're happy and we're free. So what happens here in our Namaste Sober space stays here. That just helps to promote that ability to be vulnerable and to be seen on an authentic level without any worry. So we will always recite then following you come in and you type with love in the agreements and the chats. We come in and we will recite the Master Yusui's Reiki principles just for today. Just for today was something that I used when I first decided to put the alcohol down. And I knew that in thinking that I wasn't going to drink for the rest of my life was going to drive me right back to drinking. And so I held on to that just for today. Just for today, I'm not going to drink. Just for today, I'm going to give myself a chance to be, to handle life on life's terms. So after that, there's the 2-3 minutes each of an individual opening of the throat chakra. Each person gets an opportunity to have the floor for a little bit and to talk about maybe what's on their heart, what they're struggling with, what they want to celebrate, whatever. That space is yours to just get it out. And then after each share, we all simply as a group say thank you. We witness you, we support you, and we love you. And then we take a few breaths just to give some space and maybe to reflect on what was said and not to just rush to the next person. And so then after we do our shares, I'll call us in and move us into the movement portion of the practice. So that's what Namaste Sober on Monday nights looks like. And so now that I've kind of described to you what it looks like, hopefully given you a little bit of feel for what the energy is here on Monday nights. Let's go ahead and kind of dive a little bit further in tonight. So who am I? Maybe you're watching this and you're like, who is this chick? Hi, my name is Kate Frauchi. I'm a 200-hour registered yoga teacher. I am a certified Reiki practitioner. I'm a published author. I am a certified Hoop Yogini SAS practitioner, soon to be receiving more certifications in the way of that. I am a womb wellness advocate, essential oil education facilitator, sober mama of 3 and 2 fur babies, married to my husband who I've been with him for 7 years. We've been married for 3 or 4. He's the one that remembers that stuff. Anyways, so I am loving life. And since I have gotten sober, all of those things that I just listed to you that I am, I've accomplished all of those things after I decided to stop drinking. In the short 2.5 years that I have not picked up any alcohol of any sort, I have been able to move through not 1, but 2 different 200-hour trainings. I've been able to move through countless hours of my own personal investment in personal growth. So, working with coaches and working within groups to strengthen my leadership abilities, but to also, dig deeper within myself. And none of that would have been possible if I would not have finally made the decision to put down alcohol. And my sobriety did not come to me easily. I had tried several times before to make the resolve to be alcohol free without success, and that's okay. I just found ways that it didn't work, and I finally found a way that does work for me. And so what I'm doing here tonight is offering a space for other yogis or other people. Really, you don't even have to be a yogi. You can come into this as a new beginner yogi and still be able to follow along with the practice. But what I have found in my sobriety is that yoga and the teachings of yoga have actually helped me to relearn a lot of the conditioning and and heal a lot of the trauma that led me to drinking in the first place. Okay. And the last thing I'm going to say here as I'm sharing in my space tonight, because of course this would be a time where I would share and then everybody else would go around and share. I have never, ever believed that I was powerless over alcohol. That did not sit right with me because I knew deep down my soul was crying, you are a powerful being. And really what I had to do, just like anything else, I had to call my power back from alcohol. And that bitch, she is a cunning, tricky, manipulative, awful person to have a relationship with. And she will make you think that you cannot live without her. She will make you think that life is not going to be everything that it could be without her. But I tell you what, as soon as you break up that bitch alcohol, and you start putting space in between you and her, and you start looking to healthy ways of coping with the things that life throws at you, and you learn how to calm and center yourself in a nourishing way instead of all of the coping mechanisms that you've picked up along the way, I tell you what, you call your power back, and then you become powerful enough to tell alcohol no. You become powerful enough to look at it and be like, you know what? I could, but I don't want to. I don't want to, because you know what? I've had experience with you and it's never been great. So that was kind of my rant tonight, I guess, is like, I never believe that we are powerless over alcohol. I believe that we have to call our power back from alcohol. And the only way to do that is through radical honesty, calling on source energy and your higher power, and learning how to get still and get quiet so that you can hear what's going on and feel the feels, right? Being okay with feeling the feels. Okay, totally went off on a tangent. So, just for today, this is the part where we just kind of come a little bit more fully into the space tonight. Just for today, I will not be angry. Just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. Just for today, I will be kind to every living thing. And just for today, I will be grateful. And we recite that at the beginning of every class because that is such a great anchor. Just for today. Just for today, I will be grateful. So this is usually a portion of the time where we open up the floor. Everybody has an opportunity to exercise and open up that throat chakra a little bit, work out anything verbally, and then, maybe talk about where the heart is right now, what's on your shoulders, what are you celebrating? What are you struggling with? And then at the end of each share, we say, thank you, Kate. We witness you, we support you, and we love you. And then we take a deep breath, maybe send that to the person that's sharing, giving a little bit of space, and then moving on to the next share. And then once all of the shares are done, and we are there in that space just to witness in that time, we are not judging, we're not fixing, we're not offering any advice, and there's always, something to keep in mind as far as everybody deserves equal space to be heard. So we always try and keep our shares to about 2 to 3 minutes. That seems pretty appropriate and enough time to get out what needs to get out. And then again, if there's something that needs to be further discussed, then we do that at the end of class. So after all of the shares, then I call you in and I ask you to close your eyes, kind of come, if you haven't already come into an easy seated position, that easy seated yoga pose where you're on your bum and your legs are crisscrossed, if that's accessible. If it's not, just finding that root so you can be supported. Closing your eyes and centering in with the breath. As we witness each other in this circle, we recognize the sacredness and courage of vulnerability, the power of community as we individually expand, and the love we find through forgiveness of ourselves. Let each practice we show up to be a guiding light, not only into ourselves, but on the path of sobriety and on the path of ultimate expansion. Taking a couple of moments here to just really come into your seat for this evening, focusing all your energy into your practice, setting outside the door to the side of your mat, any worries, any stress, any tension, just setting it aside. You can pick that up when we're done if you want to or not. It's up to you. So just fully coming in to our space this evening. exercise our throat chakras. We've committed to just for today. So tonight I wanted to talk about Ashima. Sounds cool, doesn't it? Ashima. It's a yama and it means non-violence. So the way that I'm going to do this is kind of give you a big picture view, and then we're just going to keep zooming in and zooming in and zooming in until we get to Ashima. And then we'll move through our practice with an intention to hold Ashima for ourselves. So Ashima, before we actually practice though, remember, first of all, stay hydrated. Second of all, remember to listen for any signs of danger or discomfort in your body. If you need to rest, do so with a sense of ownership, not with a sense of defeat. It is in rest that we cultivate the strength to shine again. So if you need to take a break at any point in our practice, take a child's pose, take an easy seated pose, breathe, and rejoin us when you're ready. Okay, cool. So I need that. The yamas and the niyamas, okay? So Ashima is a yama, but the yamas and the niyamas really kind of go together, and they're very often like coupled together when you're learning about yogic philosophy. So they are part of the 8 limbs of Patanjali's Ashtanga yoga system. And when we come to a Western class, this is the most predominant limb of the system is your asana. So like the way that we place our bodies in the postures. And the postures, the physical practice, that's the asana. The movement is actually meant to kind of bring you into your body and into a presence so that you're prepared for stillness, which is why that shavasana is really the most important part. It gives us an opportunity for stillness, for meditation, and to possibly achieve that 8th limb samadhi, that bliss. And so just as we're deepening into this, you can see this physical practice is meant to actually prepare you for stillness. So this movement helps to calm and center everything as you're working through some of those challenges that life throws at you, and we don't want to drink about it. So let's yoga about it, right? Okay. So limbs 3 through 8 of this system are experienced in some form or another as you deepen your physical yoga practice. Okay. So the yamas and the niyamas, those are the first 2 limbs. And then asana is the 3rd limb. So asana is to place or put in a special way, which is like what we do. Pranayama, which is the regulation of your breath. So the drawing in that life force energy through the exchange of the breath. So we experience that as I'm telling you to inhale and exhale as we move a certain way. There's a reason that I tell you to inhale and exhale at certain points, either because of the way that the body is placed and we're in extension or flexion, or because I'm wanting you to really drop into your body as you're moving. And dropping into our body is also a really important thing, especially if we have not been sober for that long. Like, we are so detached from our bodies if we've been drinking for a long time, because we needed to detach. We had no other coping mechanism, or, there's other reasons too, I guess. But anyways, so then the pranayama, the breath. So then moving on, that 5th limb is the pratyahara, shutting out everything beyond yourself. So this is another really important component of a yoga practice, is really learning how to shut out that external stimulus. Your senses draw inward and you experience a sense of relief from external distractions. Like, that's why I say, like, set all of that aside, because that's what we're doing. We're just setting it aside. Yeah. The 6th limb is the dharana. These are still really hard for me sometimes. Okay, it means focus and concentration. So focus and concentration, again, you can see where that would come into play in our practice. The 7th limb is dhyana, meditation, the unity of the body, mind, and breath. So that's when you really get into that flow of your yoga practice and your breathing and your moving, and nothing else, is really present. It's just the movement and the breath and what's going on in the body. And then you hopefully can reach that 8th limb when you enter into your Shavasana, that samadhi, that bliss, that oneness with source. So that was a lot of information I just dropped into your lap. You don't have to remember all of that. There is no quiz. However, I think it's really important to understand the bigger picture as we, zoom into this Ashima, which is our main focus for tonight. So you can see there's like all kinds of magic happening when we come to the mat. Like we haven't even touched the first 2 limbs of the yoga practice, or the first 2 limbs of the Ashtanga yoga system. Anyways, so when we bring an awareness around these things, we are able to deepen into our practice, deepen into our connection, and understand ourselves and accept ourselves on a deeper level. So really what I want to focus on for the next several weeks is exploring the yamas and the niyamas. And I think that they're really, they're very potent and applicable things for somebody like some of us who are sitting here sober or trying to get sober. So yama, what does that mean? Yama, restraint in thought, word, or physical action. That is what a yama is. Yama means to control or to contain. Yamas are principles of ethical behavior we should follow in everyday life in relation to others and ourselves. Ashima is a yama. It's the non-violence component of that restraint. This is the one that we're going to focus on tonight. But before we do that, let's talk about the other yamas. The other yamas besides the non-violence, the Ashima that we're going to discuss a little bit deeper tonight, they also include non-lying, satya, non-stealing, non-sensuality, and non-greed. So maybe you're noticing some coincidences between other pertinent texts of our days. Just saying. Anyways, okay, so now let's talk about niyamas quick. So we have the yamas, which is our restraint in thought, word, or physical action. And then we have the niyamas, and those are personal observances, our intimate relationship with ourselves. And practicing these leads to more authenticity and presence. So as you can see, if we put the yamas and the niyamas together, we have a really beautiful framework to actually work through and help support us in our sobriety. So there you go. The niyamas include purity, contentment, austerity, self-study, surrender, and attunement. So as you can see, a lot of those are all really relevant as we are working through some of the things that come up on the path of sobriety. And I'm kind of getting really excited about this. So anyways, let's dig a little bit deeper now. Let's go ahead and like zoom that lens in really, really close. Ashima, non-violence. So what does this mean? I think sometimes when we hear the word violent, we think of something like really bloody and gory and violent, but like non-violence and active violence to yourself could easily be telling yourself that you're stupid after you mess up. So I just wanted to like put that in there to kind of give you a better scope, because I think sometimes, especially with words, we automatically get this picture and then it kind of skews our lens that we're trying to look through for the evening. So non-violence, really embodying that non-harm, non-violence. This is the reason that I invite you to drop all judgment for yourself when you come into a class. And any yoga class of mine that you come into, you'll probably hear me say at least once, make sure you drop the judgment for yourself. Be an observer, a non-judgmental observer, because that's where you find some really great nuggets. Ashima is at the heart, I think, of practicing yoga. And so it's kind of sensible that we start here. And it is a reminder that all of our actions can come from a place of love. All of our actions can come from a place of love, on the mat or off the mat. So, like, as my audience here, you're probably not like an overly violent person, like I said, or violence, like I said, it comes about in a much more discreet and hard to call out way. Overindulging yourself to the point of discomfort, like eating that extra piece of cheesecake because it's going to taste good, and then being uncomfortable, that's harming yourself. Picking up that shot, when you know that this is not what you want to do, that's harm. And after you continually like repeat that harm, it becomes so much easier to just do it than it does to not. So really kind of deepen into this idea and look at places in your life, like where can you come from? Where are the places that you can come from a place of love? More from a place of love. Or like, we all lose our shit sometimes and maybe holler at the kids, but still, like, we have to work that's a hard one, right? Like, that's a hard one. We really start to think about it, but don't dwell on those on the times that you did act in a way that was maybe not so loving, but maybe see how you can find ways to respond from a place of love instead of reacting and possibly not holding Ashima, right? So we have plenty of exterior examples of what violence looks like in this world that are so extreme and severe and heartbreaking that re-identifying violence can be helpful when working with it, like, personally, and when learning how to come from a place of love in our everyday lives. So on and off the mat, doesn't matter. So today, as we move through our practice, I want you to hold the intention of moving with love. And every pose that we do can come from a place of love. It can come from a place of harming or non-harming. You can either force yourself into the pose that doesn't quite feel right so that you can be in the pose and keep up, or you can come from a place of love and non-harming, and you can take your time getting to that pose and knowing that that's where you are in your journey and honoring that. So yeah, don't force it, right? Move today, not with force, but move today with love. So that is the topic for today, Ashima. I invite you also to take this topic into whatever other reflection spaces you have, maybe your gratitude journaling, maybe your regular journaling, whatever you do, take a couple of minutes sometime this week to reflect on what Ashima means to you and how you can observe Ashima more fully in your life and in your practice. So, practice is here. Now, again, as you're moving into, we'll start in an easy seated position. You're probably already there. Actually, I'm going to move back a little bit so I have room to move. Just remember to, again, listen for any signs of danger or discomfort in your body. Make sure that you're honoring that if you need to return to child's pose or easy seated pose at any time. Again, do so with a sense of ownership, not defeat. It is in rest that we cultivate the strength to shine again. Okay? Make sure that you use your breath to untie the knots in your body and in your mind. Stay focused in that breath. Like one of my yoga sisters used to say, if you're breathing, you're doing yoga. You're mindfully breathing, you're doing yoga. Okay? So yeah, coming into our easy seated position, breathing, prepare yourself to become even more fully present to your practice. Maybe now is feeling like a good time to flutter the eyes closed. We'll be sitting here for just a moment. We are in sacred space as we practice together here tonight. There is no judgment here, only love and support. So give yourself permission now to fully explore this practice with me tonight. Also, again, listen for those signs of danger, warning within the body. When we end, we will end in Shavasana, and I will hold time and space for you to fully relax, integrate the information and the movement that you've experienced in our space this evening. Maybe even experience a little bit of that samadhi. Taking time now to integrate yourself fully into the space and into the practice. Taking a really nice full breath in through the nose, out through the nose, letting the shoulders relax.
It comes to me upon the strings when I hear it well I sing.
Spine is long.
I can't say it's my creation, staying patient what it brings.
Start to lengthen the inhales and the exhales.
Let me say I'm coming humble, I don't know what's right or wrong. I just keep on believing, passing down an old song. An old song.
Inhale, make space. Exhale,
Everybody's
release.
got that chapter of dark and darker days. Saturn seems to be returning and his essence can't be tamed. Some we like to fight it, try and plan a secret attack. But the more you push it, the more it's pushing you back. So you can't rush your healing.
Keep breathing. Long, slow inhales.
Darkness has its teaching.
Full, releasing exhales.
Love is never leaving. You can't rush your healing. Your healing.
Comes the point where that brain starts to chatter. See if you can quiet it with the breath.
Mama will, she told me time is such a wonderful gift.
See if you can focus on your seat being supported by the earth.
You're not running out, you're really running in.
Use that breath to bring your focus inward.
Confusion clouds the heart, but it also points the way. Quiet down the mind, the more the soul
fully. Notice what you notice by way of breath, how you can breathe. Inhale the arms up overhead. Nice and slow, palms meet.
You can't rush your healing.
Hands at heart center.
Darkness has its teaching. Love is never leaving.
Love is never leaving.
You can't rush your healing.
Take another inhale with the arms up overhead. Recognizing the message of that song. No rushing. Practicing Ashima with ourselves as we move through healing. One more time, inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhaling into center, letting the hands come down to the sides. Taking some neck circles, crown circles. Take that beautiful crown. You can choose to roll it all the way around, or you can choose to just go from left to right, whatever feels appropriate for you this evening. So just take a couple of circles here, letting the spine know, hey, we're going to get moving. So just letting you know. Take it in the other direction. Let the shoulders be relaxed. Let the breath be full. I noticed I was just rushing there. I slowed down. No rush. Holding that Ashima, non-violence as we move through our practice this evening. Bring the head to neutral, and now inhaling the shoulders up and rolling them back. Do that a couple of times. Inhaling them up and letting the shoulder blades slide down the back. Inhale up. Notice how that opens the chest. One more time. And taking it the other direction. Opening through the back of the shoulders. Oh, yeah. Inhaling the arms up overhead, interlocking the fingers, pushing the palms upwards, sitting up nice and straight as you inhale. And exhale to your one side. Pick a side. We'll do both sides. You can even use that hand to pull a little bit more. We're hinging at the hip. We're not letting the booty lift up. Open. Inhaling up to center. And exhaling over to the other side, noticing how this side is different. Observing the difference, not better or worse. Inhaling back up to center. Exhaling, releasing the interlock, letting the hands float down to the side. I'm going to remove my bolster. By the way, I put that bolster there because it helps tilt my hips just right so that I'm sitting properly in my seated easy pose. I want those hips tilted forward, and it's just how it is. So, little side note for those of you who might want to put a pillow underneath you as we're sitting through our practice. Seated twists. All right, let's go ahead and send the legs out in front of you. Inhaling. Inhaling the arms up overhead and exhaling the arms down to the side. I just want you to notice how if you were slouched like this, see if you can pull the legs back and the hips underneath you so that you can sit up nice and straight. Now draw that right leg up so that the right foot rests on the mat. Take the right foot to the outside of the left knee. And again, this is an opportunity. You notice how as soon as I did that, my back kind of rounded. This is an opportunity to pull that leg back just a little bit, so that way I can sit up nice and straight. So as you're building your Lord of the Fishes, take that left hand now and twist it behind you to tent and rest. And then take that right elbow and hook it on the inside. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, rotate to look over the left shoulder. The forearm is up, facing up towards the ceiling, and the palm is facing the direction that you're turning, facing out. Taking a nice inhale and exhale, and then inhale back to center. Sending that right leg long, do the other side. Left leg draws up. Left foot is rested on the mat, and then that left foot comes to the outside of the right knee. So you'll be able to see it on this side. Move back just a little bit more. All right. So then again, maybe pulling that foot back a little bit so that you can sit up nice and straight. Left hand floats behind you this time. Right arm hooks on that left knee. I cued you the wrong way. I was getting so excited that I was doing the left and the right correctly tonight. Instant forgiveness. So instead of turning the way that I just told you, your legs will be like this, but take your right hand and float it behind you. Take your left elbow and hook it on the inside of your right knee, and let's readjust. Instant forgiveness. This is exactly what I was talking about. So inhaling up, looking around to the shoulder, recognizing that we can offer ourselves instant forgiveness always. I have two choices there. I could be really embarrassed that I've taught 200 plus hours worth of classes and I'm still not getting the right and left correctly. But you know what? It's okay. I'll get it next time. And that's what nonviolence looks like. That's what holding Ashima looks like. Anyways, inhaling, exhaling, noticing if you're slouching, and then inhale back to center, sending the legs long, readjusting your sit bones, letting that support underneath you lengthen up to the top of your crown. Inhale the arms up, bounce the legs to make sure that the knees are not locked, and then hinge at the hips. Not concerned about whether or not you're touching the toes, but more concerned about creating that space in the back from the crown to the tailbone, feeling that stretch down the legs, breathing nice and deeply. And you can fold into it, round into it a little bit more if you want to, if that feels good. Just taking a little time to get some good stretching in. It's nourishing for mind, body, and soul. Taking an inhale, bringing the arms up overhead. And then bringing the legs wide. So we're going to do a wide-legged forward fold, but I'm going to turn this way. There's no point in me turning sideways. So take your legs as wide as it is comfortable. If it's only this wide, that's okay. This is where I'm at today. So wide-legged forward folds, making sure you saw that nice alignment from the crown to the tailbone, making sure that those knees aren't locked out. We always want to protect the back of those knees. We stretch the hamstrings. But if you feel a pull or stretch in the back of the knees, not good. Bend them up a little bit, okay? All right, go ahead and just walk the hands out forward first. Noticing that deep stretch. Big breath. Inhaling, walking yourself back up to center, turning so that you're facing that right knee, and then walking the hands out, noticing how that changes the stretch towards the back body. Big breath. Inhaling, walking back to center. Turning over the left leg, walking forward. Again, feeling that stretch through the side body, breathing deeply. And walking back up. Taking an inhale all the way up, turning over towards the right, and then folding over the right leg, grabbing the right big toe, maybe with the right peace fingers, and then seeing if you can open up a little bit. Just a deeper side stretch here. Don't crank it open too far. Just come open to the point of the stretch, not the point of discomfort. Taking an inhale and an exhale. And then rotate so that your chest is over the knee again. Release your grip on your toe and walk yourself back up to center. Turning to the other side now. Reaching out to grab that big right toe, turned over that left knee, and then opening up. And I notice this side, maybe I can't open up quite as far, but that's okay. Just really turning that top shoulder out and open. Breathing, and then turning back to face the knee, and then walking back up to center. Sweet, let's counter pose, bring the legs together, seated forward fold, inhaling the arms up overhead, and then hinging at the hips again, just taking a nice little counter pose, closing everything up before we move on. And I get a weird accent sometimes, it's just what happens. So you can get a little entertainment in your yoga classes too. Inhale the arms up. Exhale the arms to the side. Moving into tabletop position. Taking your tabletop, maybe taking a small drink if you need it. I need it. And getting ready to continue to move. So you have your tabletop position where the tops of your feet are rested on the mat. Your knees are underneath your hips. Your hands are shoulder width distance apart with your shoulders and your wrists in a line. So these are just some points to always kind of check when you come into the tabletop. You want to build your nice firm foundation before you start to move, right? Okay, so extend that right leg nice and long. Think of having a line from the crown to the tailbone, and then another line from the hip to the toe. Notice if you're leaning to one side, and as you hold it, maybe you notice your body or your mind is going, whoa, wait, what? Oh my gosh. Breathe love into the pose. Really engage and activate from the hip to the toe. Maybe imagine shooting love out your toe, and then taking the arm nice and long, left arm nice and long, opposite arm nice and long, palm facing in, and really breathing love into this pose, using it to not only activate the heart center, but to activate the body, get the blood pumping, get the energy moving. One more breath, and then coming back in to your centered pose, noticing what you notice, noticing the activation. Let's do the other side, extending that left leg long, toe pointed. The leg is parallel to the ground. You don't want it up too high. If you can't fully raise it up comfortably. You'll get there, okay? Just make sure you have it engaged. The toe is pointed. You can feel the engagement in the glute and in the thigh and in the calf. It's almost like maybe you want to shoot some love. Maybe shoot some Ashima at your toes. Taking the opposite arm then and extending it. So if you have your left leg extended, your right arm would go long. Your tricep is parallel to your ear and your spine is neutral. So you are not looking up and you are not hanging your head. You want to line from the crown to the tailbone, right? Breathe, breathe, breathe. Feel that engagement and that activation in the body. Maybe even tuck that navel up a little bit. Engage the core. It's the core warming pose. One more breath. Come on, you can do it. And bring yourself back into tabletop position. Now taking your child's pose. Knees go wide, big toes touch, and then you walk your hands all the way out so that your forehead is resting on the ground. You need to take your hands underneath to do that, that's fine. Or if you need to push your knees in to do child's pose, modified child's pose, find what works for you. Come into your child's pose. Let your breath slow. And feel your heart rate calm. This may take a few breaths to notice, but use those breaths. Here we are in peace, breathing. Peace and love are the opposite of violence, harm, and fear. Peace and love are the opposite of violence, harm, and fear. Feel this peace now in child's pose as you breathe, fully protected, safe. One more breath here. And then slowly make your way back to tabletop position, okay? So as you're getting yourself re-situated in a tabletop position, know that we are moving to plank, but I want you to stay here in tabletop for a second so I can show you a couple things before we move so that we can all stay safe. So remember how I talked about Ashima and moving through this whole practice with nonviolence? Here's your challenge. Here's your test. And you're going to pass. You're going to pass. I know it. So if you are going to do a full plank, those toes are tucked under. Everything is engaged. The hips are tucked towards the navel is engaged. Really trying to create that flat back. It's helpful when you look at the screen. Not, flat back. So side plank, when you open up to side plank, rolling onto your side, just like that, is really all that you need to do, but you have to trust yourself. You can also have one foot in front of the other if you need help with balance, okay? And if you're looking at that and you're going, Kate, there's no way I'm doing a full side plank. Help me out here. I got you back, okay? So plank with the knees down, okay? You still want that length from the crown to the tailbone. And then as you open up, lengthen that right leg and turn that lower leg so that it can support you. Okay, so this is what it looks like. That's how you get there. Just lengthen the leg and roll open. Okay, so we're gonna do that on both sides. And like I said, you should still be in tabletop. I hope that you haven't been holding plank because, okay. And then I also need to take my watch off because it's restricting my movement and I don't like that. Okay, So, how peacefully can you take the side plank? That's the challenge. Holding Ashima. Find your plank. Remember, you can always be on the knees. So find your plank, find that activation, find that strength. And I'm already starting to shake, but I trust and I know that if I keep breathing and I move peacefully, I'll open it up. So go ahead and open up to whatever side plank you're holding this evening. Noticing if your hips are dipping, lift them up. And then return to your plank. Great. If you have returned to this plank and you're like, oh boy, I don't know if I can do side plank on the other side, you can modify it so that you can, okay? So breathing, fully engaged, peacefully moving into that side plank on the other side, opening up, nice and engaged, feeling that heat that this is generating. Woo! Okay. Oh, I got it. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then bring it back to center and meet back in tabletop. Let's go back into child's pose. I think we all deserve a little break here. Return into child's pose. Maybe that was a really big challenge for you. Maybe that wasn't such a big challenge for you, but whatever you were able to notice as you held that intention to move with Ashima. How did that feel? I'm sure you did fantastic. So again, we rose that heart rate. The breath got moving. So as your breath is slowing here in child's pose, and you feel that heart rate calm, find yourself in that centered peace, that breathing, remembering that peace and love are the opposite of violence and harm and fear. Breathe in this peace. Or breathe in serenity. All right, we're flowing to down dog. So coming up out of your child's pose into the modified tabletop, tucking those toes under and moving into that down dog. Okay, and for this sequence, we really want to make sure that we're moving from a place of love. We're flowing, fighting nothing. Find that child's pose with your feet hip width distance apart. Fingertips are planted and the edges of the palms are really supporting you as your tailbone reaches up towards the sky. Your navel is tucked up in to the spine. Take that right leg up. Three-legged dog. That hip should be facing towards the floor. Swing that right leg all the way through to plant in between the hands. We're going into a crescent lunge, so that back toe stays tucked under and both toes are facing forward. Flowing with love, forcing nothing. Using that breath to take in all the support as you need. As you inhale, push down through the feet to rise up into a crescent lunge. If you need to bring this back knee down, go ahead. It's a modification for you if this is too intense. Nice, beautiful crescent lunge. Inhaling, exhaling. Bring the hands down to frame the feet. Turning the left toes or the back toes outwards. so that you create this line now where that right toes are facing forward, the left toes are facing out, and you could take your heel, draw a line to that back heel. Take your right hand, place it on the inside of the right foot, and open up that left hand up towards the ceiling. Both legs are straight but not locked. Remember, protecting the back of that knee. Inhale. As you exhale, bring that left hand down. Frame the feet with your hands. Turn those left toes in and shoot that right foot back into plank. You're like, oh my God, Kate, another plank? Yes, another plank. You got this. Take an inhale. Keep breathing. Move with love. No forcing. Tuck those elbows in. Flow all the way down. Lower all the way down to the floor. Untuck the toes. Find your back bend for tonight. If it's an up dog, find an up dog. If it's a sphinx, do you have some lower back issues? Sphinx. Tucking the toes, hips up to down dog. Guess what? We're going to do the other side. So find that down dog. Breathing again, committing to moving with love, forcing nothing. Left leg up towards the sky, three-legged dog, hips square with the ground, arms are strong, swinging that left leg through to plant in between the hands. Going into that crescent lunge, so toes tucked under or knee down, whatever works the best. And again, pushing down to lift up as you inhale. Ooh, notice how this side is different than the other side. I'm noticing some things right now. That's what that ooh was about. Nice bend in the knees, but not overextending the knee past the toe. Arms are raised, but shoulders are relaxed. Nice big inhale. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down to frame the feet. This time, turn those right toes out. Heels line up. Both legs are straight now as you bring that left hand to the inside of the left foot. Opening up the right hand. Oh yeah, I love this. So good. So good. Looking up towards that hand to deepen the twist. Oh yeah. Nice big inhale. As you exhale, bring both hands down. Frame the hands with the feet. Turn those right toes in and plank again. Plank, 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 plank. Everybody, go ahead and inhale. Squeeze your arms in to your sides as you lower down, chaturanga. Inhale to your up dog. And then exhale to a down dog. Taking a breath here, feeling the heat that you generated with that sequence. And then lowering back into child's pose. Go ahead and lower yourself back into child's pose. I'm going to close the heat vent because I'm getting blasted out. It's hot. So finding that child's pose. Full surrender into peace, into love, into stillness. Again, noticing as you breathe, the breath makes room for stillness. The body relaxes into stillness, and the mind calms. Notice what you notice by way of breath. And then slowly bring yourself up to tabletop position. So remember, your tops of your feet are placed in the mat. You got them knees underneath those hips. Got those wrists underneath the shoulders. Giddy up. All right. Go ahead. I must have been a cowgirl or something in my past life, or a rancher or something. I don't know. Maybe that's what the deal is. Cat cow. Inhale, drop the belly. Draw the crown and the tailbone towards each other as you push through the arms and legs. Noticing the gentle constriction in my throat. And then as you exhale, arching into cat, tucking that navel up, pushing through the arms. Inhaling back to cow. Take some time to move through this pose. I love, love, love to give yogis some space in cat cow to just breathe. It's a great one to just close your eyes and feel the movement. Such a soothing, nourishing pose. Movement between cat cow. And as you move through this cat cow tonight, know that everyone present participating in this practice, whenever, wherever it is a community of support, feeding that supportive vibe. And we are all moving with love. So take that in on your inhale and let that collective energy of love infuse your movements. Not only right here, but as you move through your day. Coming back to that neutral tabletop and moving back to your seat. So moving back to seated, we're going to use boat pose to go all the way down to our back. And so boat pose, again, this can be a pose that we try and force, a pose that we try and just get through really quick because it's difficult. But with the breath, you can do it. So boat pose is that balance like this. Again, I tend to put a pillow underneath my bum just because when I rotate back, it's super uncomfortable and I can't focus on what I should be focusing on. So I make the correct modification so that I can get the most out of that pose. So I got my pillow under my bum, sitting up nice and straight. Both of my knees are planted into the earth and lifting up, but letting the spine stay straight. And you can always rest your hands on the back or extend them. And then moving with love, noticing the abs are engaged, like I'm already shaking. And then see if you can gently, gently extend all the way back to lying down. It's a challenge. Move with your love and your breath. Okay, so reclined pigeon. I'm going to turn a little bit this way so you can see what I'm doing here. So reclined pigeon, we're all the way down on our back. You can go ahead and bring your feet up to rest on the mat, in line with the hips, but not super close to the hips. And then take your right leg, figure four it to rest on your left knee. Before you go anywhere else, make sure that that right leg is drawing outwards. So you want it to draw away from the nose to really open up the hips. And then you can reach in between and behind that left thigh, interlock the fingers. You can even raise the foot up to kind of help you. Relax that left knee, relax the right knee open. Use the interlock to gently pull the leg closer if that feels good. Take a big breath to relax into the support beneath you. Your whole upper body should really be relatively relaxed. See if you can deepen the relaxation through the whole body. One more big breath. And then inhaling and exhaling, letting that foot come down, switching sides so that right foot comes down to rest on the mat. The left foot now figure fours to rest on that right knee. Letting that left knee draw open. There we go. That left knee draws open, reaching behind the right thigh again. Awesome. This is such a soothing pose. You can even take a couple of breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth to help detoxify the energy, the body, and the mind. As you inhale this time, inhale the love and exhale the love. Bringing the left foot down to rest on the mat. Now take and go ahead and extend, full body stretch. Full body stretch. Oh, stretch out. It feels so good. Maybe rock side to side a little bit. Doing Supta Baddha Konasana. So this is reclined butterfly. Your feet are rested on the mat with the soles of your feet pushed together. The knees are open and wide. Arms are open. This is a wonderful pose to lead into Shavasana with. Beautiful opening final stretch before we head into that space of integration and stillness that we've worked so hard for throughout this whole practice. Come to that Shavasana. Taking an inhale with the arms all the way up overhead. Again, nice full body stretch here. And then as you relax a little bit more, exhale, maybe drawing the hands down to the sides. So the hands should be at your sides. Your feet should be open. And you will continue to lie here in Shavasana until I call you back to end class. You'll notice that I will sit up during Shavasana. It's to hold time and space for you. So as you're relaxing here in Shavasana, stay fully still, resolve to stay still. Walk your shoulder blades down your back a little bit. See if you can invite that relaxation in with each inhale and allow it to melt your body into the mat on the exhales. As you deepen into Shavasana, know that you will not be able to quiet your mind completely, but you will be able to come back to your central focus of breath if you remain intent on staying in the breath and staying in Ashima.
I'm calling my heart, calling my heart, calling my heart. Hey, you wanna, hey, Anna, hey, ne. Pray within me, pray within me, pray within me. Hey, you wanna, hey, Anna, hey, ne, hey, no, ne. I'm calling my heart, calling my heart, calling my heart. Hey, wanna, hey, Anna, hey, ne. Pray within me, pray within me, pray within me. Hey, shine on your light, shine on my way. Hey, you wanna, hey, na, hey, nay, hey, na, nay. Oh, sister moon, oh, sister moon, oh, sister moon. Hey, you wanna, hey, na, hey, nay. Lighten my dreams, lighten my night, the night of my soul. Hey, you wanna, hey, na, hey, nay, hey, na, nay. Hey, you wanna, hey, na, hey, nay, hey, na, nay. Hey,
Keep breathing fully. Keep inviting full relaxation.
warrior of light, warrior of light, warrior of light. Hey, na, hey, na, hey, nay. Come and guide me, teach me to fight, fight with no war. Hey, na, hey, na, hey, nay, hey, na, nay. Children of this life, children of this life, children of this life. Hey, na, hey, na, hey, nay. Teach me to love, teach me to love, love in your way. Hey, na, hey, na, hey, nay, hey, na, nay. Angels from above, angels from below, angels from within. Hey, na, hey, na, hey, nay. Come with your grace, come and heal me, come and heal me. Hey, na, hey, na, hey, nay, hey, na, nay. 'Cause when we embrace all that exists, all that is here, hey, you wanna, hey, na, hey, nay. Then the heart prays, then the heart shines, then the heart sees. Hey, you wanna, hey, na, hey, nay, hey, na, nay. Hey, you wanna, hey, na, hey, nay, hey, na, nay. Hey, all becomes love, all becomes love, all becomes love. Hey, you wanna, hey, na, hey, nay. When we are one, when we are one, one with the love, one with the love, one with the love.
Take a nice, big, long, slow, deep breath in. Full, cleansing exhale. And maybe start to bring a little bit of movement into your fingers and your toes. Swiggling them, rolling around a little bit. And then as you feel ready for a little bit more movement, stretching the arms up overhead, taking a refreshing full body stretch as you wake up from your yogi nap, rolling on to your right side. Staying here for a moment, resting maybe in that fetal position to get that vagus nerve stimulated. Take a moment here on your side, on your right side, breathing. First, acknowledge yourself for showing up to this practice this evening and following through with it until the end. Can you take this feeling of love and peace with you off the mat? Can you move with nonviolence when you're cut off in traffic or when you're dealing with a cranky pants? Nonviolence is a state of mind, and the true practice of yoga happens off the mat, not on it. So move with love as you gently push yourself up to seated, and we seal in our practice this evening. Coming into your easy seated position, fluttering the eyes open. Hey, hello, how you feeling? Inhale the arms up overhead. Palms meet and draw down in the heart center. This time, as you inhale, imagine drawing up that beautiful earth energy, creating a rose quartz bubble around you, using the sky energy to seal your rose quartz bubble. Recognizing nothing less than love in and nothing less than love out. And again, one last time with the inhale, all the way up overhead. Bringing the hands into heart center. May you be safe and protected. May you be healthy and nourished. May you love and be loved. And may you truly be happy. Namaste. Sober. That's how we end every class, by the way. We say namaste and then we exclaim sober. It's fun stuff. So I hope that you enjoyed this practice. I hope that it encouraged you to show up for yourself on Monday nights to each and every practice. I do it every Monday night. The website, if for some reason there is a class that's canceled, the website will have that. But yes, every Monday night, 7 p.m. CST, here in Zoom, we move through a practice similar to this. Next week, of course, we're going to move on to a different yama or niyama. Not sure yet what's calling, but we're going to keep continuing that and how it relates to our sobriety and our expansion and our enlightenment, really. So I thank you very much for being here with me this evening. Thank you for moving through a practice for yourself. Thank yourself, because I'm thanking you. And come join me next Monday night as we come back to the practice and discover more about ourselves, move energy, release stress and tension, and enjoy the support of community, of like-minded people who have that focus of essentially the focus of love, really. So see how you can practice Ashima throughout this next week. And I will see you back on Monday for more goodness. Namaste.